Hi, my name is Ignacio Martinez. I'm the Chief Interior Designer at Bugatti, and I'm responsible with my team to develop the design of the tourbillon interior. So the role of an interior designer is to design a full vehicle from the first sketches all the way to production. So we need to consider many aspects, not only our brand DNA, make sure we comply with all the stylistic cues that we have in Bugatti, but also develop a theme, a user sequence, that is understandable, that is what our customers expect. We need to take care of the materials, of the technologies that we are using in order to develop and manufacture this interior. We need to make sure also that the interior is safe, so we need to comply with many constraints in order to bring this car to production. So it's quite a multidisciplinary task, from the more creative one, developing a theme, sketching, 3D modeling with our team members, all the way to manufacturability, homologation, and bringing this to production, always following our design standards. We are already impacting early on with the engineering team, making sure that everything is foreseen since the beginning. It's a vehicle that will be used and driven on the street, so it needs to comply with certain safety measures, depending also on different markets that we will be catering for. So throughout the design process, we need to make sure that we implement all these requirements, like airbags, the position of the seat belt, how the vehicle behaves in crash scenarios, and how therefore the occupant also is impacted by this. Everything is intertwined between design and engineering, and we need to make sure that we go through all this process while defending the design intent and making sure that everything stays as we envisioned since the beginning and not impacted by that.
The aspect of timelessness also played a key role in the creation of the interior concept. We deliberately focused on an all-analog human-machine interfacing, so the way that the car displays information at its driver and how the driver interacts with the car is entirely analog.
A Bugatti needs to be a timeless vehicle. Just like any other timepiece, this object goes from generation to generation, and that's what we intend also with tourbillon. It needs to be its own character, not following any trend, which is why we decided to reduce as much as possible the digital layout of the vehicle. When you have too many screens, they potentially would not be used, and therefore you cannot have a turned off screen in the middle of the dashboard, polluting the design, polluting the intention. So our aim was to reduce as much as possible all the displays, so this vehicle can be as timeless as it should in any situation, while it's being used, while it's being driven, maybe on your private collection. If it's sitting on a Concours d'Elegance 50 years from now, while not having any screen unused, polluting the interior, it will keep this character of timelessness, and that is very much reflected also with the name of the car. Tourbillon is a mechanism, a complication on the watchmaking world. It has inspired all the theme on the interior, all the exposed mechanisms, the glass surfacing, and this ages extremely well, unlike a display.
In the interior of the tourbillon, the art of watchmaking meets digital detox. We have chosen to do the entire human-machine interfacing between displaying information at the driver and the driver operating the vehicle in an entirely analog fashion. That way, the sensation of driving a tourbillon will remain timeless through the decades.
As you can see, the interior is deprived of a lot of digital displays. We stuck to the bare minimum, because we wanted to, of course, have a strong focus on physical controls. We do have displays on the knobs, a small display on the cluster, but it's as minimalistic as possible. The same happened with the central display, that is at most times hidden inside of the dashboard and just deployable on command whenever it's required. Otherwise, we have physical controls like the engine start-stop button that will be pulled in order to turn on the V16 behind. And we're working a lot also on the haptics of these controls to make sure that they have the correct clicking feel, the nice resistance, and nice travel. So everything is connected semantically, not only to the watchmaking approach, but also what you feel haptically with these physical commands. The interior development of the architecture has very strong Bugatti DNA cues, like the C line here. It has been slightly interpreted with a different acceleration, a little bit more dynamic. And there's a clear differentiation between driver and passenger side with the center line, mirroring exactly what's happening on the exterior with both its center line and its C line. It is a quite simple architecture. We have a very clean line that travels from the dashboard to the door behind the users all the way to the center console. It's the perfect place where to put our main protagonist on the cabin, which is the steering wheel and the center console. Focusing on the steering wheel, it is a very unique piece. It's the only steering wheel that has all the controls, the paddles on the rim, and the rim moves independently from the airbag. We call it a fixed hub steering wheel. And also, what is very unique is that the analog cluster is sitting on top of the airbag. And our intention was to have always this mechanical fascination as close as possible to the user, and also not having any spokes obstructing the visibility of this cluster. So we managed to develop this with our partners in Switzerland, expert watchmakers that developed all the gears, all the mechanisms together with us, making the best of both worlds, from the watchmaking world and the automotive world. Now focusing on the center console, we had the same approach as with the steering wheel, enhancing all this mechanical fascination, a lot of focus on the analog controls, and the same approach as a timepiece. As any other auto lingerie piece, you have all the exposed mechanisms, you have a skeletonized structure milled in metal, everything veiled with sapphire glass. And that's exactly what we have here. We have milled aluminum as main structure. We have all the exposed mechanisms of these rotaries that are actually functional mechanisms that we wanted to enhance and expose to the customers. And everything is veiled by this beautiful crystal piece. It is quite unique. It was very challenging to develop. And also it's the only product in the industry that has this solution of an actual glass piece on the center console. If we focus on the controls, we have the same approach on the door rotaries as we did on the center console. We have also there exposed mechanisms, all veiled by sapphire glass. And this is where the user, for example, on the driver's side can adjust the position of the steering wheel, the position of the pedals, because we have our fixed seat that is attached directly to the monocoque for us to have a lower position for the driver, therefore a lower roof to help our aerodynamic performance, for example. So everything is available for the user on command, really easily accessible, very symmetrical, and with the same semantic of analog approach and exposed mechanisms. It was an amazing challenge, and the outcome is unbelievable. Everything that you see here, it's actual real mechanisms that activate the needles to show the speed, the RPMs, and it really is the cherry on the pie on this interior.